week a statement from the Trump administration on how to rebuild the American cattle supply. Now, it didn't specify what that is. Everybody is speculating about what it means. Does it mean that President Trump is going to open up federal grasslands for grazing? Does he provide direct payments to cow-calf producers like what he has done, has a history of doing with crop producers? Does he plan some type of tax incentive program to hold back heifers rather than take the high prices they can get now?
Suderman says the supply of protein in this country is going to remain tight because any incentive program in order to get producers to hold back heifers to rebuild the breeding herd further tightens that supply. Let's get a look at your ag news on KFEQ. I'm Nathan Steedley.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split-second moment in time, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. The need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. And that's why when others look away, Susan G. Komen leans in. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. Fighting breast cancer takes funding for research to discover the next new treatment, providing access to quality and affordable health care, and people willing to take action by raising funds and raising their voice to advocate for others. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
Fox News commentary.
The left has come out in full support of lawlessness and full opposition to making it better. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
If your cash is sitting in a savings account, it's at risk. Old school advice says save more, but today the strategy is broken. When inflation spikes, they print money or cut rates, your dollar shrinks. So do your savings. The solution? Own something real. Physical gold and silver. When the dollar drops, gold and silver prices rise. And with Noble Gold, owning gold is simple. Just visit NobleGoldInvestments.com and chat with a specialist. The knowledge is free, the protection is priceless. Visit NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult your financial advisor before making investment decisions.
Are kicking and screaming because President Trump wants to clean up their lawless cities. And one of their favorite lines to fall back on is that red states have higher violent crime. Well, I did a little research, and while it is indeed true that 4 of the top 7 violent crime cities are in red states, here's the little kicker. Those cities are governed by Democrats. St. Louis, Democrat mayor. Memphis, Democrat mayor. Albuquerque, Democrat mayor. Detroit, independent, but formerly Democrat mayor. Cleveland, Democrat mayor. Tulsa, Democrat mayor, and last but not least, Baltimore, Democrat mayor. Not a single Republican mayor in the bunch. Perhaps the crime problem and the leadership problem could go hand in hand. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
From Bethpage Live, Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the Ryder Cup. It's been a tight match all afternoon between Americans Ben Griffin and Bryson DeChambeau and Europeans Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose. But Rose and Fleetwood had a 2-up lead on 16, their largest of the match, and DeChambeau needed to make birdie to keep the match alive.
Behind the ball, he saws one last look at the hole. The tension ball is on its way. It looks to the right side. It looked like it could miss, but it didn't. An enormous miss from Bryson. We head to the 18th. U.S. 1 down.
This match currently on the 18th as the Americans hope to scratch out a half of a point. The team score at the moment, Europe 4, USA 2. Each side has secured 1 point this afternoon. The one match still on the course is tied. Burns and Cantlay, McIlroy and Lowry. That's the other match out there right now.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name's David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flower Ranch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective. It does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialists was compensated for their time.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Late Afternoons on KFAQ. Now let's take a look at your markets.
Here's a look at your closing markets from the Chicago Board of Trade. December corn down 3 3/4 cents, 4.22. March down 3 1/2, 4.38 3/4. May corn finished 3 1/4 cents lower, 4.48. November soybeans 1 1/2 cents higher at the close, 10.13 3/4. January at 1 3/4 at 10.33. March beans at 1 1/2 at 10.49. December soybean meal 1.40 higher at the close, 2.74.60. December soybean oil down 8 cents a barrel at 50.19. December wheat out of Chicago down 7 1/4 cents at the close, 5.19 3/4. March down 6 3/4 at 5.38 1/4. May wheat out of Chicago down 6 1/2 at 5.50 1/4 cent. December wheat out of Kansas City down 6 3/4 at 5.05 1/2. March down 7 at 5.26 1/4. May wheat out of Kansas City 7 cents lower, 5.40 1/2 penny. December oats finished the day 4 cents lower at 3.09. Your local cash grain bids in St. Joseph, yellow corn 3.72 to 3.82, white corn 4.72, soybeans 9.24 to 9.54. Lifeline Foods in St. Joseph bid on yellow corn at $3.82. Truck dump hours 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. In Atchison, yellow corn 3.81 to 3.80, soybeans 9.29 to 9.33, hard wheat at 4.20, soft wheat at 4.34. Kansas City truck bids yellow corn 3.87 to 3.98, white corn at 4.82, soybeans 9.34 to 9.57, hard wheat at 4.54, soft wheat at 4.69, sorghum at $3.27. Over in the livestock trade on the mercantile, December live cattle finished the day unchanged, 230. February 45 cents higher, 236.50. April live cattle up $1.02 at 237.30. November feeder cattle up 225 at the close, 354.47. January up about 87 to 347.82. March feeders up $1.72 to $343 even. December lean hogs $2.42 higher at the close, $91 in the nickel. February up 225 at 92.17. April lean hogs up 217 at $94.35. That's been a look at your closing markets on KFAQ. I'm Nathan Steveley.
Whether you're in the barn, in the truck, or out on the combine, KFAQ is right there with you.
With Ag News, I'm Nathan Steveley. Multiple grain traders are reporting many soybean buyers have booked at least 10 and perhaps as many as 30 cargoes of Argentinian soybeans after the country decided to scrap export taxes. That's another setback to America's farmers who are already shut out of their #1 market and hurting from low prices. Removing the tax on exports boosts the competitiveness of Argentina's soybeans, prompting traders to purchase cargoes for fourth quarter inventories in China, a period that's usually dominated by U.S. soybean imports. However, reports say that's now clouded by Washington's trade war with Beijing. One trader said Chinese buyers booked a total of 15 cargoes, dealing a fresh blow to America's farmers, missing out on billions in soybean sales to China halfway through their prime marketing season. Argentina temporarily eliminated export taxes on grains and their byproducts, as well as on beef and poultry, in a bid to spur sales abroad and bring in much-needed income. The USDA is awarding $8.3 million in funding to help 11 U.S. recipients address their trade barriers and expand international market access for U.S. specialty crops. The funding is provided through the Foreign Agricultural Service, which manages the Technical Assistance for Specialty Crops program. It helps producers combat trade barriers and promote their goods internationally. Our market development programs are bringing the bounty of American agriculture to people around the world, helping millions of hardworking American farmers, ranchers, and producers connect their safe, high-quality products with growing export markets. That coming from Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs Undersecretary Luke Lindbergh. Through TASC, the USDA partners with nonprofit U.S. agricultural trade associations, state agencies, and small businesses to expand market access. The USDA Market Development Programs returned an estimated $24.50 for every your Ag News on KFEQ. I'm Nathan Steedley.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa. Michaela got her first business insurance quote for Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee, does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. Commercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage is not available on all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
It's time for a Minute with Mitch as we take a moment to discuss football with the play-by-play voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's presented by Hy-Vee, the proud official grocery sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Has anyone else noticed that the quarterback run game has emerged around the NFL? Heck, even Patrick Mahomes set a record earlier this year running the ball. But I'm talking about the design quarterback runs, not scrambles, not running to throw, but running because that's the play call. Last year, the Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts had 14 rushing touchdowns, all on quarterback powers, draws, or tush pushes. All design. Bills quarterback Josh Allen may be running a bit less, but it's the increase in design quarterback runs for Allen that's noteworthy. And this week, it's the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, who has averaged 881 yards rushing the past 8 seasons. The design quarterback run is hard to defend. Instead of 9 blocking 11, it's 10 blocking 11 with a great athlete running. Sometimes defending the design quarterback run is at the top of the list on this Minute with Mitch. Make your next tailgate great. With help from Hy-Vee, proud sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs. This football season, find all your tailgating needs at your local Hy-Vee. From chips and beer to the freshest meat and seafood in town. The culinary pros at Hy-Vee take all of the guesswork out with pre-made dips, snacks, and more. And don't forget to stop by the bakery for a wide assortment of sweet treats. Tailgating has never been easier with help from your local Hy-Vee. Also remember, your local Hy-Vee is the place to find the highest quality beef, hand-selected and sourced from family farms throughout the Midwest. When it comes to beef, Hy-Vee goes the extra mile to bring affordable, tender, and delicious flavor to every tailgating grill out. Stop in your local Hy-Vee to find Angus Reserve, Choice Reserve, and Prime Reserve beef options for your next gathering. Hy-Vee, proud sponsor of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Sees an end to the war in Gaza. I'm Lisa Lucera, Fox News. President Trump with that message to reporters this morning.
I think it's a deal that will get the hostages back. It's going to be a deal that will end the war.
The president did not give specifics, but the U.S. has pitched a plan that would return the remaining hostages, gradually withdraw Israeli forces from Gaza, and establish a government there that does not include Hamas. At the United Nations this morning, Israel's prime minister called on the world to hold terrorists and their funders accountable.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu revealed to the UN's General Assembly that his speech was being force-screened to all cell phones in Gaza so that his message could reach the population directly and without distorting interference by Hamas warlords.
Lay down your arms. Let my people go. Free the hostages. All of them. The whole 48. Free the hostages now.
Hamas has been publishing images of the remaining hostages over the Jewish holy days of Rosh Hashanah this past week.
Fox's Evan Brown, dozens of UN delegates and representatives walked out of the chamber in protest as Netanyahu began speaking. This as Iran says the United States and 3 European powers bear full responsibility for the failure to delay the return of sanctions on Iran. President Mahmoud Pezeshkian calling the expected snapback of UN sanctions unfair, unjust, and illegal. Before the UN decision, he spoke with Fox News saying Iran is not producing nuclear weapons.
We are willing and ready to put everything at their disposal for verification.
Speaking there through a translator, a Russian and Chinese push to delay the revival of sanctions failed at the 15-member UN Security Council after only 4 countries supported it. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, I'm Lance, and her name is Sherry, and she's a friend and a colleague of mine, and we were just praying for her, actually, because she had a major surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
Going well? You know,
I And it's such a blessing when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was. Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. But let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in, and it's just what you need, it's so refreshing.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling people. People love MediShare and saving tons of money. The typical family, I'm saying, could save $500 a month.
I am so thankful for MediShare. It's so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way, Grant.
It is a good different. Call right now. They're so easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 866-89-BIBLE. That's 866-89-BIBLE. 866-89-BIBLE.
Claire is putting Jimmy Kimmel Live back on its station starting tonight after a 4-day hiatus over comments Kimmel made related to the shooting death of Charlie Kirk.
Claire in a statement said in part it heard feedback from viewers, advertisers, and community leaders, and even proposed new accountability measures to ABC, including a network-wide independent ombudsman, adding our decision to preempt this program was independent of any government interaction or influence, stating free speech provides broadcasters with the right to exercise judgment as to the content on their local stations, adding it is simply inconsistent to champion free speech while demanding that broadcasters air specific content. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
A short time ago, Nexstar announced it will also air Kimmel's show. 260 people across Africa arrested by Interpol, accused of online romance scams that affected more than 1,400 people who were defrauded of nearly $3 million. Interpol says the operation took place between July and August in 14 African countries where social media was being used to victimize people. There were no big surprises in the latest readings on inflation.
Inflation numbers for August are mixed. The numbers aren't showing much improvement, but any increases remained modest. The PCE price index for August rose 0.3%, up slightly from July, though excluding food and energy, core PCE declined to a 0.2% increase. For the year ending in August, it nudged up to 2.7%, though core PCE for the year remained at 2.9%. The Federal Reserve looks at inflation and the job market as it decides whether to lower interest rates. Americans made more last month. Incomes rose 0.4%, and they were spending more. It increased 0.6%.
Fox's Ginny Solo Wall Street. The Dow gained 299, the Nasdaq up 99, the S&P plus 38. I'm Lisa Lacerra. This is Fox News.
KFEQ late afternoons continue with the latest news and information.
I'm Pike. It's nearly flu season, and to help prevent the flu, the St. Joseph Health Department is offering flu shots that are available to those insured and uninsured who are considered high risk. If you can't make it to the department, interim clinic supervisor Christy Billions says once again the free flu shot clinic will be held on Thursday.
We offer anybody over the age of 19 at the citywide flu clinic. If they're not able to come in because maybe they have some mobility issues, we accommodate them at the curb. We do it all free of charge.
The clinic will run from 8:30 a.m. to noon, or while supplies last.